Hey everybody, welcome back to 13 Rings, an NFC East podcast. I'm your host, Lucas, with Maurice and Earl, and special guest C-Webb filling in for Mal while she is on vacation. Guys, week 2 of the NFL season just got done. We are excited to talk about that, but before we do, we just want to remind our listeners that while you're listening to this episode, to help us make sure that we can provide better future content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and leave us a rating on whatever platform you're listening to us on. That being said, guys, week 2, we got the NFL season, and before we start, we got to review. What do we got to review, guys? We do this every week during the season. What do we review?
Predictions
that we made during the preseason, right? So let's go to Earl's Dallas Cowboys. Now, week 2, we all had them winning.
Sorry, y'all.
It wasn't just you. Look, we all did it. So it's not just, it is what it is.
My squad, I take responsibility.
Good on you, man. Good on you.
This is what happens when we do predictions before the season. Things could change. Teams can improve. And
I hate it.
I don't think anybody predicted the Saints to be as good as they are.
That is true.
Yeah. That being said, we still do have the Eagles, and we also all predicted a win there.
I'm sorry, Maurice.
Oh, man.
Oh, gosh. Predictions are not looking good so far. And now for the Commanders-Giants game, we were split 50-50 on that. Me and Earl had the Commanders winning, and Mal and Maurice had the Giants winning. And C-Webb, I think it's time for me just to talk about that. Right, bro?
Yeah, we can have a nice conversation about how your team is still very suspect. Like you said, it's week 2.
It's week 2.
A lot of football still to be played. It's a long season. There's another 15 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to revisit this conversation again week 17 when we have a full body of work of a season. And we'll talk about both teams as a whole of where the opportunity is. Maybe one will be in the playoffs. We'll see.
We'll see. But let's talk about this week 2 matchup. Now, those listening to C-Webb has been a long friend of the pod. And I know C-Webb pretty much hates our team after this because, and he said this in the group chat after the game. He said, we finally, the new ownership, we finally broke the Daniel Jones curse. The Commanders win, of course, 21-18. Giants scored 3 touchdowns. Commanders scored 7 field goals, yet the Commanders came in out on top. Crazy as that sounds. That being said, C-Webb, I'll start with you. What went wrong for the Giants in this game?
When you break down this game, the biggest there's 3 kind of issues with this game. The mismanagement of the game by the coaching staff, by Brian Daboll, the defense and the unwillingness to be able to stop the run. I've been talking about this in lengths for the entire offseason. The Giants were very bad with defending the run, especially to the edges, as well as the opposite side of Dexter Lawrence. So what teams are doing is they're double and triple teaming Dexter Lawrence and running right at that other D tackle, Riley Leonard, or not Damon Patterson. Andre Patterson's our defensive line coach. They're running at that second D tackle, and it's over before it starts. So again, when you can't stop the run, the other team's able to control time of possession. They're able to stay ahead of schedule. And even though they were able to bend and not break in the red zone, 0 touchdowns allowed, you still allowed 21 points through field goals, which ultimately created a 75-25% time of possession. Mm-hmm. So people want to sit here and axe the offense, Daniel Jones. They're not having enough wow plays. The offense did its job and it was very efficient for the amount of possessions that they had. But still, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter when you can't stop the run and you're not on the field anywhere near as much as the other team. So
no, I think you touched some good points. Let's also talk about the fact that your kicker got injured on the first kickoff, and then you had to go for 2 points pretty much every time afterwards. because you guys didn't. Wasn't he on IR? I mean, not IR, but wasn't he on the injury report before?
Just on the injury report.
Yeah, just on the injury report during the week, and you guys didn't sign a an emergency kicker just in case.
Yeah, Graham Gano. I think the backup plan was Jamie Gillian, our punter, was kicking kicks, but I guess Dable didn't have enough faith in him to try another extra point, so they ended up going for 2 multiple times, and unfortunately could not execute.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, now we talked about what went wrong. What went right? Because I think there are some positives.
The other thing I was going to say real quick. A big drive killer that kind of not changed. It did change the game, but Benjamin St. Juste had a great knockout play.
That's that. So Benjamin, I'm going to get to that. Yeah,
and that was the first drive of the second half. Where that completely kind of shifted because we were driving about to score. Devin Singletary was in the red zone. You go and score there. It's 24-18 or whatever, 24-21. It's a wrap. So It is what it is, man.
It is what it is. Yeah, no. So what went right for you guys? Because I think there are some positives for the Giants to take away from.
It looks like the quarterback looks a lot better. Looks like he's kind of getting into a groove. He looks a little more confident, which is encouraging. You got to remember the guy's coming off an ACL injury. Even though everyone's saying he's healthy, it's going to take time to get back into a groove. We saw what it was like when Saquon came back from an ankle and a knee. These guys are humans and they're athletes. Like, even though they're athletes, they're not just robots where they can snap back in and go back to work like nothing happened.
So you're still on the Daniel Jones train, to be clear.
I'm not saying I'm saying the Giants, the GM has done a lot of great things to progress this team and roster to have a supporting cast around a quarterback. There are levers and pieces around this team to say either the quarterback is or is not. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, fair enough. Any other positives?
And I said this earlier. Someone's not going to like it when I say it. Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts are the same quarterback. Both mediocre, above average quarterbacks.
We are 9 minutes in.
Just is what I'm saying. One was afforded a great situation. One was afforded a very poor situation. You can look at how they play the game. They're both RPO style, like to use their legs. I think Daniel's a better passer. But you're seeing it this year so far with Jalen. Like, when pressure is against this guy, he's very bad. He tends to use his legs because he's not confident in his arm. Take AJ Brown away and look at him. He doesn't look very good.
Fighting words. We are 9 minutes into the pod, and C-Webb is already. Okay. Well, we will definitely get to the Eagles, but and I just want to shout out Malik Neighbors, looking like a number 1 wide receiver. Now, granted, I will say this: when St. Juste was covering him, he did a decent job, but then you guys switched him over to the other side, which was smart on your end. And that's when, Malik Neighbors really started to show out. But look, Malik Neighbors it was a hit of a draft pick. Absolutely. Good job for you guys.
But again, going back to, we're talking about running the football and how you guys were able to run the football very well. Mm-hmm. You have a dominant run game. Mm-hmm. It's over before it started. Like, there's not as much as on a quarterback for what he has to do when a defense is looking at trying to defend the run and defend the pass, where you're two-dimensional versus being one-dimensional when you have no run game and you're just a sitting duck out there as a quarterback. So kudos to the Commanders for being able to establish that run game. Hopefully they continue that trend to provide their young quarterback with the foundation to grow and be on the right trajectory.
No, I think you made some good points. I'm just, like I said, Malik Neighbors looked great. Justin Pinnock was all over the place. We named him Defensive Player of the Week for the NFC East. I think that's well deserved. Yeah, look, I think that I mean, Daniel Jones always looks good against us, so I need to see it outside of just the Commanders for me to say positive things about him. But you know what? He had a good game. Kudos to him. He led a really good drive at the end of the half. I thought that was great, and it was looking like he was going to lead a game-winning drive before Malik Neighbors dropped that fourth down pass, and that's just rookie jitters, rookie mistake. I'm not really worried about that.
But again, going back to that point, Lucas, a lot of people, and this is not being on the Daniel Jones train. This is objectively looking at it from a football lens.
Mm-hmm.
People want to blame the quarterback for the receiver dropping a ball, the running back fumbling the football. Like, these are all things. You look at better football teams that are well coached and properly prepared and executing at a higher level, these things don't happen. And you want to say the quarterback sucks because the rest of the team around him is letting him down. That's an organizational team issue. That's not an individual quarterback issue. The quarterback is doing his job. The supporting cast around him is not helping him at all.
No, Daniel Jones did not lose you guys that game.
And that's been his entire career, and people just don't see it because they see his name and they get PTSD because it's like, oh, Daniel Jones, he sucks. But this is not going to turn into a defend Daniel Jones session. It's just I'm just trying to be objective.
No, and I'm being objective too. Like I said, he did not lose you guys the game. That being said, let me get to the Commanders now. What went wrong? You talked about the bend not break defense for you guys. That's look, 7 chances in the red zone. We had, I think, 5 penalties in the red zone. 3 of them pre-snap, 3 or 4 of them pre-snap. Look, that's not winning football. That's just not winning football. And that's relatively inexperienced offensive line in terms of playing with each other. That's a rookie quarterback playing his second week. Look, it's going to get better. I wish that because it should have very well been. Look, if we make at least 2 of those out of those 7 field goals, 2 of them touchdowns, like this is a completely different conversation. And I think we can both agree on that. I think the Commanders definitely shot themselves in the foot on offense. Defensively, we have the same problem. Even though we have Jonathan Allen and Payne, we're still having problems stopping the run. I mean, Singletary had a great game against us. What was it, 95 rushing yards? Like, yeah, look, we can't allow that. No, that's the second week in a row that we've let, and our pass rush, it's not there. And we didn't even have Jamin Davis as an active player. He was a coach's scratch, which, like, he's the most athletic player on the edge, in my opinion. Granted, he's smaller, but he's the most athletic. And if you're going to do something, rushing the passer, like, we only got 1 sack. 1 sack, that's it. And that's not something that I'm happy about. Can't believe I'm saying this, though, switching gears to the secondary. I kind of missed Emmanuel Forbes this past week because Mike Davis looked horrendous. He got cooked so much. And no, just it's sad. Look, I think we have the right coaches in place. I think our personnel is lacking here, and that's just going to be a theme throughout this whole entire season. Look, they tried to flip the roster as best they can, but you can only do so much in one off season. And this is going to be a slow rebuilding. And I know they don't like using that term, but it's going to be a slow rebuild because we need to get our type of players in. And look, like, Mike Davis didn't want any smoke from Malik Neighbors. It was sad, but it's true. And, like I said, Jonathan Allen and Payne were basically no-shows in the game. Like, Payne played okay. Allen was basically non-existent. Our edges, not that athletic. Frankie Louvu was fantastic, but, like, I offensively got some problems. Here's like a glass half full, glass half empty type of view on the offense. I appreciate Cliff Kingsbury slowly opening up the playbook for Jaden Daniels, not putting too much pressure. Daniels has not turned the ball over yet. As a result, that's fantastic. However, Cliff, please stop doing bubble screens at the beginning of each quarter, okay? It's not cute. It's not pretty. Please stop. Everybody knows what we're doing. Let's not do that. But outside of that, look, the positives here, Jaden Daniels, second week, had more yards, high completion percentage, no turnovers. Had a few sacks, had one bad run that I was not thrilled about, but you know what? That was a welcome to the NFL hit. Was out for a play, came back in, was much more aggressive passing the ball versus just running when he didn't have anything. I think it actually kind of woke him up a little bit, so that was good. Overall, Zach Ertz played fantastic. Turn back the clock a little bit there. I need more from Terry McLaurin, obviously. Noah Brown was big for us, though. And Brian Robinson, I think he's the offensive player of the week in the NFC East, posted that. And you know what? Just he's going to be featured as a running option this season, and until proven otherwise, keep on feeding that guy the ball. That's how I feel about it. Any thoughts?
That's pretty spot on.
Go ahead.
My thing with the Commanders is seeing just a little bit more when it comes to the passing game with Jaden Daniels. Of course, we know he is with his legs, and he has that established with when that run game is kicking in. How does he react when he doesn't have a run game or the run game is taken away from him? And how is he going to be able to break down defenses? That's my question. But the season will play out, and we'll see.
Yeah. Earl?
Yeah, what I saw from bits and pieces of the game, yeah, I think with what the Commanders are doing, they're definitely going to have problems with stopping the run. I get Joe Witt Jr. is the defensive coordinator, but Dan Quinn is a specialist when it comes to the front four on the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, it just seems like maybe it's just them learning the type of style that Quinn wants to do. And overall, I think they're not picking up on it, nor if it's something that's a little different when it comes to how Rivera may have taught those guys in the front on how to stop the run. I feel like they stopped the run a little bit better under Rivera than they're doing with Quinn right now. And I think that's probably more on the installment base on what they're trying to do and gel together on the defensive side. The secondary is a little sus right now.
It is.
But overall, you got Mikey Sanders still. That's a rookie.
Yeah,
he
needs some time to develop.
Right. You got St. Juice, and then Emmanuel Forbes. He's supposed to be a potential prize possession on the defense, but for right now, he's kind of a question mark at the moment.
Well, yeah, he's out with he's recovering from thumb surgery. Yeah, so he's
right.
Not,
that's what I mean as a whole. I mean,
yeah.
In general,
right.
But overall, it's something that you're gonna have to work and figure out. Y'all got Cincinnati coming up on Monday night.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that game.
So, yeah, and on the Giants side,
Yes, sir.
On the Giants side, Chris, it's basically, I think they need to rely more on the run game until they're able to fully get comfortable with Daniel Jones. Because right now, if you get Singletary the ball and get the running game involved, it'll definitely open up stuff in the pass. And then Neighbors, on the other hand, he's a rookie. He's learning. He's going to continue to get better. And Hyatt, I actually wonder, how did Hyatt do?
He didn't play that. He didn't play, right?
Not getting a lot of reps.
Yeah,
okay.
He's outside of the deep
still
threat.
Over him on the depth chart too.
My understanding is, because I've listened to our friend Dan's podcast, is that he's not even his route running is so horrendous that they're not even playing him as a deep threat, right?
God,
yeah,
he
can't beat out Darius Slayton on the roster.
Okay, so right now it's Neighbors, Slayton, and Wandale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it looks
tight end.
Okay. So basically, it looks like you just got to find ways to get the ball in your skill position guys' hands. And when you're able to do that, you can utilize that in the run game.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The run game is imperative.
And you guys have a good offensive line. I think you guys have allowed the least amount of pressure so far this season.
The issue, Lucas, it's not the offensive line being good or bad. Week 1, they could not run the ball at all. And Daniel Jones is a quarterback that he's very good off of play action and RPO. You need to have a run game for him to get cooking. That's just the style of quarterback.
You got to get him comfortable in what he's good at. And then from there, it'll open up other things.
Ding.
Mhm.
There you
Yep.
go.
For sure. So real quick, and then we'll move on to Earl's team. Who's your Giants player of the game?
Defensively or offensively?
Doesn't matter. Choose one.
I got to give it to Daniel Jones. He did his job. He was efficient. Coming off an ACL, was able to score 3 touchdowns. And in any other game, if there was a kicker, that's usually enough to get the job done.
Yeah.
Even
So
with a kicker with field goals and whatnot, when they went for a 4th down or the fumble, they're scoring 24 to 28 points in this game, or 27 points. And just because there's no kicker and they weren't effective on the 2-point conversions, it just ended up only being 18 points.
Yeah, no, I got you. I
But
got you.
there's a reason that record was broken yesterday, and it's never been broken before. Like it's phenomenal that you guys scored 7 field goals and still won the football game.
Yeah. Speaking
After
of kickers, I'm gonna have to go with our kicker, our new kicker, Austin Seibert. I think he's the first commander ever to have a debut game where he makes 6+, technically 7, but 6+ field goals with all of them connecting, and the game winner. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Mr. Coming off the Jets back as the backup for the Jets. Coming in, keep this type of work up. You're gonna have a home in DC for a very long time. I almost said Brian Robinson, but I'm gonna go with Cyber because he won us the game at the end. Game-winning kick. So yeah, I'll go with that. That being said, Earl, how about them Cowboys?
Yeah, that's a good question. Basically, what I saw from Sunday, it definitely opened up my eyes and truths that the Dallas Cowboys are front runners. They like bullying on teams when they're ahead, but they're poor when it comes to playing from behind. And when the bully matches them bully for bully and punches you in the mouth, you shrivel up and do nothing. And basically, from this game, I saw lack of effort, lack of a mindset to fully get the investment that you want to be physical. All of that was false. The Dallas Cowboys lost against the New Orleans Saints 44-19. One thing that I took away from this is that fatigue makes cowards of players. And I feel like on the defensive side for the Cowboys, they were all fatigued, which makes them cowards. Lack of prep, lack of effort. They allowed Alvin Kamara to go off. And it's something that I've seen before, the last couple of games to be exact. James Cook with Buffalo last season went off, nearly had over 200 yards, all-purpose yards. I think he had 3 touchdowns in that game. Aaron Jones in the wild card game, he had, I believe, 3 touchdowns. He almost hit about 200 all-purpose yards. Overall, as a whole, I understand that any given Sunday. But for the Dallas Cowboys to perform in this game, I got shades of the wild card game from Green Bay. And I was really disappointed on what I saw. What went wrong? I'm not even going to name any names. I'm going straight to the defense. The defense got to have a heart-to-heart to figure out how they're going to be able to work together as a team. Before I get to that defense, I have a challenge for the Cowboys. Kind of a heart-to-heart. Dallas, do you want to be champions? What are you going to do to sacrifice in order to become champions? Coaches, players, front office. Something's got to be sacrificed in order to get you where you need to be in contention to be a playoff team as well as a Super Bowl contender. Fans, what are you going to sacrifice? I already know that I'm sacrificing what I'm doing to find the betterment of the Cowboys. I challenge you to see, are you willing to sacrifice in order to be a potential champion? Cowboys Nation. One thing that we saw from this, I know we're hurt from it. It was basically what we saw last season, but don't be discouraged. I feel this team is going to respond going into week 3, but I just can't scratch the fact that you got to get punched in the mouth in order to respond instead of having that physical dog in you against anybody. Not being poked, but have it within you. What went wrong with this game? The defense. The defense tied with giving up 35 points in the first half. It was insane. Mike Zimmer, I'm not sure what front office did to you. I don't know if I can say this, but I believe he got sullied. He got neutered. I didn't see that intensity factor on the sideline that I've been looking forward to seeing. Just a snippet of it. I didn't see it. I really think they got a hold of Zimmer after the press conference he had with them, where they were asking him, how come are we going to see that fiery guy on the sideline? I saw none of it. Zero. And I believe the lack of effort in the Dallas Cowboys and the physicality was not there. I feel it in the offense, but I've yet to feel it in the defense. And maybe just because of that, the offense is a finesse team, so they really can't embody the physicality to a finesse team. You got to match physicality with physicality. I saw none of it. Alvin Kamara had over 109, 90 yards, all-purpose yards, 4 touchdowns. You never set the edge. Micah Parsons, you're supposed to set the edge. DeMarcus Lawrence, you're supposed to set the edge. Marshawn Kneeland, you're supposed to set the edge. You got blown off the ball. I don't understand Mozzie, a.k.a. Mickey Mouse Hands. He's yet figured out anything to be better. I've seen other second-year defensive tackles take that step. I have not seen it with Mozzie. Linebackers. I don't understand why Mike Zimmer did not go with a sub package, but went with a base package. I'm trying to figure out why wasn't Overshown on the field. He was your best linebacker in week 1. Only saw him for 17 snaps. And then you decide to start Damone Clark taking 39 to 40 snaps, and he's scared to hit the gaps. I'm like, this team is soft. On defense, SOF capital T. Soft. I don't get it. Every year, I see the same thing. You're telling me you cannot figure out a physicality with the team, and I put that on the embodiment of the head coach. The head coach, all he thinks about is smashing watermelons instead of getting this team fully mentally ready for game time. I need to see that
Smashing
dog
watermelons?
in 2020. Look up the article.
Okay.
He lacks physicality. Even in Green Bay, lack physicality. I think this team is just suffering from an identity crisis because they can't endure the physicality. They don't want to put the blame on the coaches. I can't say Quinn was the problem. I can't even say Zim was the problem. I think it's the players as a whole. You got to dig within yourself to build a physicality within yourself. This Shanahan tree, they say, oh, it's the scheme, it's the scheme, it's the scheme. It's simple logic. Off tackle runs, plug and pull, pin and pull. They're just bullying you up front. You got to match physicality with physicality. I've seen it before. You got to be consistent with it, Cowboy defense. Yeah, it's just upsetting. And then on top of that, you decide to go on a cover 2 and you let Rashid Shaheed expose the safeties in a cover 2, straight split it. Yeah, no, you got to get off the field. I'm sick of seeing Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson on the field. They peaked. I already know what they are. I need to see Wanye Thomas and Marquise Bell on the field. They're younger, they're faster, they're elusive, they're more athletic. I need to see these boys at safety, some way, somehow. But for some reason in my mind, I feel front office is playing politics with this, and it makes me sick. All I know, y'all better be ready because the Ravens are coming to town. They're 0-2. They're going to be smelling blood in the water. You better lock in, get ready, get physical. What went right? I'm going to give that to the offense. The offense, yeah, they were stagnant, but 5 of their 6 possessions out the jump they at least scored a field goal. They had one touchdown where Dak connected with CeeDee Lamb for 60 to 65 yards. CeeDee had to make that play. So CeeDee is finally getting in his rhythm with the offense, but CeeDee Lamb needs help. I don't trust Jalen Brooks and Kevontae Turpin. You got to step up, bro. And Jalen Tolbert, you're not it, my guy. You want to come out with a new visor, have an arm sleeve on, have one leg sleeve up, one leg sleeve down. That doesn't make you the player. You going out making an impact, making plays for your team. That's what gets you to become a dog. I'm to the point now. I'm ready to trade in and bring in a veteran receiver to go along with CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks. You can't tell me that Jake Ferguson didn't, just because he was out, he made a difference. I get it. Everybody needs their star players, but it's next man up mentality. I'm going to give flowers to Luke Schoonmaker. He stepped up. He made all his catches. Salute to you, brother. The running game. I really think they need to keep Ezekiel Elliott as running back one. Rico hasn't shown anything. Deuce Vaughn, even if they put Deuce Vaughn with Turpin in the backfield, that's not a running package. I really don't think Mike McCarthy need to be talking to Shoddy about coming up with some unique plays, going back to the basics. I'm tired of these little short screen passes and things. Y'all need to match physicality with physicality. There's dogs on the team. You got to basically start running the football, getting the running backs comfortable. Ezekiel Elliott, he didn't do too bad. But I give credit to Dak. Even though he was trying to force some and it cost 2 interceptions, he was still trying to do what was best for the team to try to keep them in the game. But when it got too far, he had to let up. So you'll get him next time, bro. My player of the game, I'm going to give that to Brandon Aubrey. Brandon Aubrey has been automatic with the Cowboys. And right now he is at a record of 13-13 over 50 plus yards on field goals. So he's my player of the game.
Yeah, Earl, you make really good points. I'm just gonna say this. I don't think anybody expected the New Orleans Saints to come out as hot as they did, and I think you guys just got caught not taking your opponent seriously. And I think by the time you guys realized that they were serious, it was too little, too late.
It was like that last season. It was the year before. Like, I've seen it before. It's a repeated pattern. I can't shake what I saw from that because it's the same thing that all of us have seen. You can't tell me that running a basic run pattern to match physicality and be like, all right, we're going to do a simple toss play. You won't stop it. There's something in your mind when you get punched in the face, something's got to trigger and awaken within you. And I haven't yet to see it. So we just got to see how they come out in week 3. They may play better. All I know is it's long overdue.
I got a question for Earl. Are you comfortable with Ezekiel Elliott being your number 1 running back
Right now, yes.
For the season?
For right now, yes. I believe right now he's healthy. And with that line where you have Cooper Beebe, Tyler Smith, and Tyler Guyton, you got to get these guys going, especially with the run game. They're making strong pushes, but when you're just doing simple draws and not being creative with the run game, it just really puts you at a hole. So with what I've seen from Rico, yeah, he can hit his head on the goalpost, but he runs in the wrong gaps. And my concern with him is health. No doubt in my mind, he's a dynamic running back, but with his health, right now, Ezekiel Elliott is healthy. But for Rico, he's got to get going. He's got to make a case for himself. And the only one that I've seen right now make a case who's scored in the red zone and get those tough yardage is Ezekiel Elliott. So I have to go with what I've seen so far, and that's Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, on that note, let's go ahead and shift gears to the Eagles, right? Or Maurice.
Oh, Maurice.
Yeah.
How did
Yep.
you? I'm eager to hear you talk about this game because I know you and the rest of the Eagles got Kellen Moore. Go ahead.
I can't wait for
Yeah.
this one.
We told you so.
I have so many questions that I've been telling you about your team, your fraud head coach and quarterback. Let's hear it.
Well, Lucas and Earl, I will say, I will give them credit. They were saying, wait it out. It's the Kellen Moore special will happen eventually. And we got a taste of it last night as of this recording on Monday night. Yeah, the Eagles lose a heartbreaker, man. It's like what you said before. It's only week 2. We got a lot of football left, but
Is it really a heartbreaker, or is this really who they are? Because we saw this coming down the stretch of last year, and the head coach couldn't get back on track. Yeah, going back to just kind of the end of 2023 as the season for the Eagles kind of went shattered, and you had the same 2 guys that took credit for when things were good. They need to be the same guys under fire for why it can't get back on track. The head coach and the quarterback should have been the reason why the Eagles got back on track in 2023 through the playoff run. And now when there's a little bit of heat, some things are not going the same way, and they're not as protected with the team around them, and they're supposed to elevate, whether it's the coach or the quarterback, and they can't. That's why I'm calling them a fraud. I've been saying it the whole time. I know what I'm looking at. Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni are frauds.
You good, Maurice?
Mic drop.
I think you have to separate the quarterback from the coach. 2 different responsibilities. One is a player on the field. One is calling the players on the sidelines. You can't equate both of them. But to go back to your original point, was last year an anomaly, or is it the trend? That's the question a lot of Eagles fans, including myself, is asking myself, at least today, before week 3.
How many years of it has been with Sirianni now? This is year 6 or year 5?
No. This is year, I want to say 3.
4. He was there a year before Dable.
Okay, so year 4. Year 4.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, so with that said,
1 year of good, 3 years of above average.
No, not 3. Yeah, I would say above average. Yes. But winning football at the least. You can easily say winning football. You can't say that by every other team.
Can I ask you this question? How would you summarize 2021 when you didn't go to the Super Bowl, the first year of Sirianni? How would you say he managed?
Jalen Hurts wasn't ready yet, so he was the quarterback. I mean, he just wasn't ready. He needed a year to get under his feet. And then the next year, he went to the Super Bowl, and he was second in the league.
Did Sirianni hide behind Shane Steichen? Was it really Shane Steichen that was the brains of the operation of the Eagles?
See, that's the thing. That's the thing about Nick Sirianni, and you can make the point that Sirianni is a fraud. You can, and I'm being 100% honest here. I'm keeping it real, because Sirianni is a CEO head coach. He's not the play caller.
Right.
Kellen Moore's the play caller, and I'm gonna get to Kellen Moore in a minute. But Nick Sirianni is just a CEO head coach. He's just the guy who makes the the rowdy get the guys pumped up speeches. But when it really comes to the defense and the offensive coordinators, that's not his job. So when you say Nick Sirianni is a fraud, I mean, he doesn't have the responsibility. So, I mean, you can go with that. I mean, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. It comes down to what the coordinators can do and help these guys who, from right now, as it looks right now, from after this game, there's some talent deficiencies, at least on the defensive side of football, and I'll get into it. But when it comes into the quarterback, no one thinks Jalen Hurts is a fraud. I mean, when you're comparing him to other quarterbacks in the league, there's a lot of fraud quarterbacks in the league. Jalen Hurts is not one of them. He's played winning football from college to the pros. He's winning. You could say that was part of. You could say that's in part to talent, yeah, sure. You have to get lucky sometimes. But at the end of the
Situation.
day,
So he's just lucky. I'll take that. I'll take that. He's a lucky guy.
I mean, you could be lucky. You can be a quarterback, above average quarterback, and fall into a winning situation with a bunch of talent around you. Sure, there's nothing wrong with that. No one's saying like shame on him for having all pros. There's nothing wrong with that. So, with that said, let me get into the breakdown after about 10 minutes. Let me get into the breakdown of this game. We lost this game, and I'm putting this squarely on. I have a blame pie. I like using blame pies to kind of break down who's at fault.
Let's get it.
But 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 to start, the defense is awful. This defense looks terrible. They don't. And I asked this question last season. I thought the question would change with Vic Fangio, one of the architects of his style of defense. But the question is, what is the identity of this defense? What does this defense do well? Do you guys know? Nothing. That's what it is.
Well, I mean, I was about. Sorry, I was muted. What I was
Yeah.
about to say is
Wait.
what they're supposed to be good at is red zone defense, because that's what Vic Fangio hangs his hat on. Are they good at that?
No, that's I don't know. It's on this undecided right now. I don't know. But with that said, this defense doesn't have any one positive. Cowboys got Michael Parsons, one of the best defensive players of the league. The Giants have a great defensive line. When they get pressure, they can change the game. The Commanders, you guys are rebuilding, so I can't really, come at you guys.
I mean, if you want to say something, John Allen and Daron Payne are supposed to be great interior linemen, but okay.
Yeah, same for DeMarcus Lawrence. Wait, so you're saying, Maurice, that you don't have anybody that can get upfield?
On the defense, I don't see an impact player on this defense right now. That's my opinion. I don't see
my biggest thing with that is that didn't y'all trade for Huff?
He's been absolutely nothing. He has done nothing.
Okay, you drafted Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter is a good player. He needs a good defensive line around him to make it so he can make an impact. If it's just him, he can't do anything.
So basically, you're telling me that y'all should have kept Reddick.
It's looking like it, even though he's been a headache. He's not going to play if he gets a brand new contract. But yeah, Reddick looks like he looks like the better option than Huff right now. I mean, it's only 2 games. I gotta say that again. It's only 2 games. Maybe these guys will come around. But as of right now, this defense looks awful. Too many holes.
How's the linebackers?
Zach Bone had a good first week. 15 tackles. This week, not so well. N'Kobe Dean. I mentioned him many times during the preseason, the offseason.
Devin White?
He isn't getting on the field. He's not playing. He was a healthy scratch.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he was a healthy scratch. That shocked me when I saw the inactives. There's no impact player in this team right now. Slay is older. He got cooked on a touchdown from London. No one else in that backfield is really making an impact. I'll shout out C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He had a great fourth down stop. That was a great play.
Do you believe he took his helmet off?
It looked like it was coming off. It looked like it was coming off, and he kind of like, I don't know. It kind of like it was coming. It was loose. I'll say that. But anyway, this defense looks terrible. I'm looking at Howie Roseman to maybe make a move. Same sentiments you have. I'm looking. They gotta improve that because their pass rush is pretty much non-existent right now. Offense. The offense looked okay. Pretty much the same exact they looked in the game against the Packers. Let's talk about Kellen Moore. Let's talk about that 3rd down play. Now, the game would have been over if Saquon would have made the catch, but he dropped it. I mean, it happens. Like, I'm not going to kill Saquon because he dropped the pass. Like, he had a good game. He rushed for 95 yards. He could have had more than that. But I think, and this is my opinion, I think the overall issue was why pass it on third down? They don't have a
Thank,
timeout.
thank you, thank you.
But they
Like
don't
I,
have a timeout. It was
like I,
third. It was. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say when I told you last week was that there's times where you're running the ball where you should pass, and then there's times where you pass where you should have been running the ball. That 3rd and 3, you should have ran the ball because it would have gave you an extra down. Even if you got the first down, you got the clock moving. They really didn't have timeouts. So taking that risk of rolling out to get that pass to Saquon, that takes a risk because if he catches it, yeah, you can get it. But then that other hand, if he drops it, time stops. And you saw how the Falcons marched down the field right after they got the ball. So my biggest thing is Kellen Moore, he lacks time management. I've seen it since 2019. And everybody's like, yeah, this guy's a boy wonder. Yeah, he's a boy wonder. He's got a top offense. Yeah, at the beginning of the season. What happens towards the later part of the season and to the postseason? He is figured out. So my biggest thing is I'm seeing it under full display. Y'all are seeing snippets of it. So I'm done there because y'all have seen it. But for him, in order to be better as a play caller, he's got to learn how to work on time management, and that will help the team. That might even help his case to be a coach. He's had interviews. There's a reason why he hasn't been hired as a head coach.
Yeah. So going to that, it's tough because if Saquon catches the ball, the game's over. The Eagles win. Another tough win, but a win. I mean, it really comes down to the defense. And Kirk Cousins on prime time, he had an awful game week 1. Second week, the dude drives down the field 70 yards in a minute and 20 seconds. It might be a couple seconds off. A minute and 20 seconds of game clock with no timeouts. Just drives down the field. Everybody's open. Defensive players can't make tackles. It's just all over the place. So I have a blame pie. 50% of the loss goes on the defense. Vic Fangio has to figure this out. If no one on his team is going to get a rush, you got to send some blitzers. You got to send pressure. Blitz, man. Do something to help this defense. You can't just let guys like Kirk Cousins, who's completely stationary, just pick you apart. What happens when you play a mobile quarterback? I mean, even a rookie like Jaden Daniels. If you let Jaden Daniels just run around the pocket, of course he's going to find guys open. I
Well,
mean,
He better not run up the middle because Jalen Carter can
I
hold on
think
one arm.
that who landed that hit, C-Webb, but whoever handed that, I think that was the oh gosh, what's 41? What's his name? The linebacker,
Micah McFadden.
I think McFadden landed that hit on him, and yeah, no. After that, I don't think we're going to see very many putting yourself in the harm's way just to get a first down type of runs from him anymore. I think that was welcome to his league. But no, I get
Hey,
what you're
Lucas,
saying.
I was gonna send you a subscription to Looney Tunes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's stay on task, guys. Let's
let me wrap this up real quick.
yeah.
Blame pie, 50% on the defense, 25, 30% on the coaches. Kellen Moore's got to do better. Like, you can't just squander that amount of time with a team with no timeouts. Other 20% goes to Saquon. Like, he dropped the easy pass that would have ended the game.
Was it an easy pass? I mean, he was led a little bit far out.
It was.
You would give that to Saquon? I would at least split 10 to Sirianni and then the other to Jalen Hurts.
For the pass or just the whole game?
Because in general, if you're looking at it, yeah, he did the rollout to Saquon, but you're telling me he has no range to audible at any way possible?
The play that they ran that play earlier in the game, and they were successful. It was a bootleg. It was an easy throw and catch. He just dropped it. It would have been a first down. It just went off his hands.
Alrighty. Okay.
I mean, you got some blame to him dropping the pass, right?
I get it. You got to catch those. Yeah, you owe your team 10 for that. Like, I get that. But when you're looking at the play design, you're allowing Kellen Moore to do it, but you have the say as a head coach to be like, okay, you want to do a bootleg at a 3rd and 3. No, we need to run that thing because at least we get short yardage. Saquon, he had the juice in this game. You gotta feed the rock to him and let him push the pile. He was running. So for it, if I know that it's 4th and 1, what do you think they're gonna do?
Listen, even if you gotta remember it was 3rd down, 3rd and 4.
It's TPT time because even at that point, you're still it's clock management. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, you can say that Kellen Moore is the reason the defense is what they're doing because if you know that they're getting gashed like Swiss cheese, you got to come up with a game plan to protect them to make sure they're fresh. So when you're killing out the clock, when they come back on, they're fresh. So it's a time management thing too that Kellen Moore's got to understand to help Fangio and help the defense. And I don't think he's done that since he's been there, even though it's week 2. So,
well, hopefully they can learn from their mistakes. Like I mentioned, what went wrong? Time management and the defense overall not getting any pressure. If I had to pick a player of the game, it would have been Milton Williams, defensive tackle, simply because he was the only one that got a sack in the whole game. So,
I was about to say, was it because he got a sack? Fair enough.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're not going to give the ball to? Well, I guess because he didn't make the catch. No. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. So like I said, only week 2. It was a heartbreaking loss, terrible loss, but we still can come back from this. You can come back from. We need to do something on the defense. The defense is looking scary right now. But I digress. We can move on.
Anyway, Maurice. Well, you're up next anyway. Let's do mailbag real quick. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, real quick question for the mailbag, NFC East mailbag of the week. Who had the worst loss this week in the division? The Eagles, Cowboys, or the Giants?
Giants.
I'm gonna say the Cowboys. No offense, Earl.
Well, I mean, we've seen it before. I would say the Eagles had the game won.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I would agree with the Eagles. Yeah.
Ooh, I would say the Giants because they're expected to beat the Commanders.
Okay, Mr. Homer.
No, and this is not even shade. You score 3 touchdowns and you can't get one stop from a defense. That's unacceptable. You can't get one punt, 1 3 and out, nothing. That's just embarrassing.
And I'm still sour that the only time the Saints punted the game was in the 4th quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, oh, by the way, Earl, did Spencer Rattler make a debut?
Nah, he was out. I tell you, if I would have saw that man, I would have jumped through my tablet.
Because we had that one fan during the draft that kept on saying for the Commanders to draft Spencer Rattler. You missed that, C.
Well, he was out, so I ain't seen him. He was in street clothes.
Fair enough. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, that's a tough one. Whew. It's either it's not the Giants for me. Sorry, C-Webb. I'm gonna
go with your heart, man.
I think a blowout loss to a team that you were expected to beat is much. Ooh, but then again, I said Cowboys at the beginning. I'm going to stick to the Cowboys.
Okay,
that's what I'm going to do. So anyway, Earl, it's time for your favorite segment.
Yeah, who's that football player? Theming. All right, let's see this football player. This football player played with the New York Giants back in 1992. This player had 49 receptions for 610 yards, 5 touchdowns. His career awards.
Monty Toomer.
Let me finish.
Keep on listening.
Career awards: 1-time Pro Bowler and a 3-time Super Bowl champ. guys, who's that football player? I know who it is.
Or Stephen Baker.
You'd be surprised. Who? So C-Webb, give us a final answer. Who do you got?
You said drafted in 92 or
No,
Played in 92.
like that was his first season?
No. That was just the season that we got the stats from.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Can't be Toomer. Stephen Baker. Stephen Baker.
Maurice, you got an idea?
I would have said Baker as well.
Earl, who do you think it is?
Ed McCaffrey.
How? How? I thought that was so sneaky. Yeah, it is Ed McCaffrey. Did you look it up?
No, sir. When I saw the 3-time Super Bowl champion, he won 2 with Denver, and then he won 1 with the Giants.
Oh.
91?
Yep. The wide right for Buffalo.
Yeah, 91.
You guys got to admit that was a good one.
I was born in 91.
Okay. Shout out the McCaffrey family.
Yes,
Lucas, you thought you had me.
I thought I did. It was a good one. It was a good one. Anyway.
Hey, Lucas, real quick. Is Luke McCaffrey getting any burn?
He's starting. I don't think he didn't make an impact this time, but he was the leading wide receiver in week 1. It's gonna. I think they're slowly opening up the playbook for Jaden, so I'm sure we'll get more passes as he gets comfortable too. So we'll see.
And a respected prayer send prayers to Christian McCaffrey. Right now he's kind of sidelined for the next 4 weeks, so hopefully he gets a full recovery. Respect.
Yeah.
Yes, but I do have Frank Mason on my fantasy team, so I'm actually okay with that.
And real quick, prayers to Tua, man.
Yes, prayers to Tua as well.
Yeah,
that's his 3rd concussion. Yeah, back to back. So yeah, I just think he should probably look to hang up the cleats, if anything, because his health and stuff is important. Like, I mean, this man got hit on the head 3 times. I don't want him to get hurt again. Like, I care about his health.
Yeah, that's fair. So I believe what's next is the poll questions, right, Earl? And you're doing that too because Mal's out?
Yes. So we have 2 poll questions, one with the Eagles and the one with the Giants. I'm going to go with the Eagles first. The poll question states, who will be the Philadelphia Eagles' most valued and productive player on offense this season? 75% say Jalen Hurts. 25% say Saquon Barkley.
You were about to say broccoli.
Yeah, I was. Look, man, I was gonna say drop Quan Broccoli, like literally. But AJ Brown was at 0%. There was only 4 votes. So right now they believe Jalen Hurts is going to be the most valued and productive player this season for the Eagles offense.
Okay. You could easily have said, and I said it in the comments, that's 2 different questions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jalen Hurts is the most protected. I mean, valued, but I didn't mention it. But did I mention that AJ Brown wasn't playing, so he's going to be out for maybe a couple weeks, which is crazy. I didn't think that was going to be a long-term injury, but he might be the most productive player overall, at least important.
Hey, Dotson gonna have to step up.
Yeah, he only had 1 catch for 6 yards. How's that trade feeling now, Maurice?
Well, he's still learning offense. I mean, you got to give him some time.
Noah Brown got signed afterwards, and he got 3 catches for 50-some-odd yards this past week.
Wait, which team he's on?
He's on the Commanders. We picked him up.
3 catches for what?
He had 3 catches for 56 yards, I believe.
All right, well, good for him.
Including
good for him.
That set us up for the game-winning field goal.
Different players, different offenses. I mean, we can revisit this trade at the halfway mark of the season.
Okay.
Deal. The next poll question deals with the New York Giants. This is insane. All right, so
it's a good question. It's a good question.
Let me read the question.
I will defend this.
Okay. So should the New York Giants trade for Bryce Young after the former first overall pick in 2023 was benched by the Carolina Panthers?
Stop this.
You want to know? There was 23 votes on this, Webb. Like,
Go
okay,
draft a
so
quarterback next year.
nah, that's not even the case here. We got 70% that says yes, and then
Wow.
30% no, and now and a total of 23 votes.
How does that
I
make
want you to
sense
know,
well?
mine was no, because
Yeah, mine.
there's no way.
Yes.
Look, because there's no way Bryce Young is gonna do better than Daniel Jones, especially with how things are rolling.
I'll say this: there's a lot of people that don't know both. I'll just say that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Look, I understand with Bryce Young, you got to get him in a good position. I don't think Carolina was the best fit for him. If you plug him to the Giants, who knows? It might be a blessing in disguise. But for right now, it's just clearly unsure because they gave Danny Dips that money. So right now he's got to play because they spend that cash on Danny Dips. So right now he's the quarterback. But if they were to do that and work around him, that could give a new leash on life for Dable. But who knows?
I don't think Bryce Young is going to be a good NFL quarterback. I'm just going to say it like that.
Wow. Are you giving up on him already?
Can you explain that? Can you explain that?
I think he's going to be one of the biggest first pick overall busts in NFL history.
Is it because of his
even
size?
over Jamarcus Russell?
He hasn't shown. Well, let me. That's right. I don't think.
Look, man.
Yeah, I don't think he's shown anything that would warrant him being a legitimate NFL starter. He's undersized. He doesn't have a strong arm. He's already had some injuries. You would think in that offense with the Panthers, you would show something by now. I mean, when you have that bad of an offense, you know, you can rush, you can run for a bunch of yards. You can pass. You know, you can make somebody on that receiving core look good. No one has looked good on that offense. They
Well,
brought in.
I'm gonna say this.
I'm gonna turn your brain with this, Maurice. Think about this. If the Eagles didn't have Kenny Pickett, could you see Bryce Young being a backup to the Eagles, especially with his chemistry with
I was going to ask that for
Devontae
you.
Smith?
I was going to ask that for you, Earl, and because Trey Lance.
Oh no, I got a quarterback that's got a cannon who throws the ball to Jesus. I'm good.
Well, then why you mention it to me? That's what I'm saying as a backup for you guys.
Yeah, but see,
I mean, I'm looking under a schematic that would fit him perfectly. Back when he was in Alabama, he had those rangy, speedy guys. The
That's
Eagles
college.
have some of them. So
College, man.
I get it, but you got to have a quarterback that kind of was in somewhat of an NFL type scheme in college. You could say when he was in Alabama, he was under that. The only thing is you got to get him a running game and then get him the weapons in order to do it. The only guy he had at Carolina was Thielen.
Alabama ran a pro offense.
Yeah. So it wouldn't like right. But with how Kellen Moore does his stuff, he could work with Bryce Young.
No,
I don't know, guys. I don't know.
The whole conversation we're having is Bryce Young as a backup. I mean, that's kind of my point.
Is there another place where he could start? Realistically,
probably Minnesota. No,
they got
Penix.
JJ.
Lucas, when we did
Cleveland
our quarterback rankings, Bryce Young was like at the bottom.
Yeah, he was at the bottom. Yeah.
And by the way, I think you had him like right there next to Daniel Jones.
Ouch.
I mean,
Mm.
Anyway, let's finish this up. So anyway,
I think it's trivia time.
Yeah, it is trivia time. So the question, and I think this is a pretty good question. Since 1983, when Drew Pearson last wore the number 88, how many other Dallas Cowboys players have worn that number jersey? And can you name those players? Now, I will say, well, actually, before I even say that, because I don't want you guys cheating, there was one person that I believe got it right. I'll have to double check. But in the meantime, I'm going to go to Earl last. Maurice, how many players do you think wore that number? And can you name them players?
CD Dez, and there was somebody else, but I'm forgetting his name. But I'm going to go with 3.
You only named 2 players.
I said CD Dez, and it was someone else, but I can't remember their name.
Okay. C-Webb, do you want to take a guess?
You repeat the question one more time.
Since 1983, Drew, am I hearing keyboard clicking?
Yeah, someone's typing.
Who's cheating?
Yeah, who cheating?
Okay,
I'm,
okay.
I'm literally doing work, but also listening.
Okay. No, I'm just
typing
playing.
email.
Since 1983, when Drew Pearson last wore 88, how many other Dallas Cowboys players have worn that number jersey? And can you name those players?
No, but I'm just gonna guess 3. Des
Okay.
Bryant, Michael Irving, and somebody else. I can't think of their name.
Okay.
Michael
Earl.
Irving's 88, right?
Michael Irving? I'm not going to
Yeah,
tell you until we're done. So,
Yeah.
Earl, how many players have worn this jersey since Pearson, and what are their names?
Okay, as a whole, and let's see, 6. It was total of 6, and that's including Pearson. So
No,
I got
not including Pearson.
not include Pearson. Okay, so that would be
5.
Yeah, that'd be 5.
Okay.
Can I name?
You're
Can I name them?
all. Oh, go ahead.
Can I name them?
Yes.
Please?
Yes.
Okay. So I have Michael Irvin, Jackie Harris, Antonio Bryant, Des Bryant, CeeDee Lamb.
So
I got the year too.
I don't need no year, but I'm just gonna stop you there. Y'all are wrong. There are 6 players that have worn that jersey since Pearson. Irving, Jackie Harris, Antonio Bryant, Brett Pierce, Des Bryant, and CeeDee Lamb, according to Football Reference.
Pierce?
Yep.
I missed one.
Ward in 2005.
Wow, that snuck up on me. Okay.
Yep.
I was close.
I mean, you and Maple. He didn't get Brett Pierce either.
Is there like any real meaning toward
88 is the elite wide receiver number for Cowboys receivers since Pearson.
Okay, so when you get 88, that means like they're co-signing next great receiver.
Yes, pretty
Basically, Drew Pearson, he was the OG of it. Then Irvin took it, and then notable Des Bryant took it. And
I mean, there were about 5 players that wore it before Pearson too.
But pretty much carried the legacy stronger than the others. Was basically Irvin, Bryant, and Lamb.
Yeah,
Harris, Pierce, and Bryant, they had okay years in '88, but the most dominant ones was Irvin, Des Bryant, and CeeDee Lamb.
Now, I will say that the players before that wore it before Pearson was Sonny Davis, Colin Ridgway, Sonny Randall, Reggie Rucker, and Ron Sellers.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a good one. I got you. The Drew Pierce, the Brett Pierce one was the thing that I think stumped everybody. But yeah, no, according to Basketball Reference.
I got a question for you, Lucas.
Yes,
do
sir.
Do you know who the originators of the Hail Mary?
No, I do not.
It was Roger Staubach and Drew Pearson against Minnesota.
There you go. Minnesota. All right, guys. That being said, I believe we are just about done. Maurice, do you want to play us out, bud?
Yeah. First, before we do that, I want to thank Chris for coming on again. You can check out Chris at Giant Dad Podcast. Really appreciate you jumping on, man.
Yeah, thanks,
anytime,
man.
Guys. Really appreciate you guys having me on.
Of course, anytime, bro.
Before we go, week 3 matchups. Earl, you got another big game coming up, man. Ravens.
Yeah, the Ravens. Yeah, that's going to be game of the week. This game's going to be an eye test, but depending on how they play, this Raven game might break the fan base. So hopefully we show up.
The Ravens are 0-2. They need a win.
Yeah, they smell blood in the water, so we better get ready.
Yeah. Eagles versus Saints. The Saints are hot right now. I actually had this game as a loss because the Eagles never play well in the Superdome. They just never do.
Hey, y'all did pop Reggie Bush in the Superdome.
Yeah, well, we lost that game too.
It's true.
Yeah, so this is I'm not going to say it's a must win, too early in the season. But this is a big game for the Eagles, man. They got to turn it around here. I had them losing the game, but if they can win this, makes this loss against the Falcons feel a little bit better. Giants Browns.
C-Webb, how you feeling about that?
Yeah, I mean, this is really a gut-wrenching test for us. Is our season kind of turning down for the even worse? Are we ready to put it all together and get on the right foot? My biggest concern, like I said before with the Commanders, can we stop the run? Cleveland has one of the best run games in football. Concern there. What does their pass game look like with the quarterback? Well, I mean, Stefanski's a great coach. We just have to show up and play our brand of football. I think if the Giants can put it all together, they can beat Cleveland. But we'll see what type of product we get. We'll see how prepared the team is. Brian Dable's on the clock, man. And if this thing goes left, you could see him given the boot.
Yeah, that pink slip coming.
You can easily point the blame to the coach if the team is not prepared.
Absolutely.
Commanders Bengals.
Monday night.
Let's go. Look.
You confident?
No. I have this penciled in as a loss here, guys. Look, I just want to make sure that Jaden Daniels continues to develop well. I know our defense is not going to be able to do anything against that Bengals offense. So, look, as long as Daniels plays well, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a rebuilding year.
Yeah.
You're not contending, so
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
Look, if we get a win, fantastic. I have coworkers that are Bengals fans just because of Joe Burrow. And if they lose to my team, well, I get to rub it in her face. So, yeah, that's a win.
Yeah, don't lose to Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, gosh, no. He looks more like Ice Cube right now with those little frosted tips.
He got the Eminem haircut.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get out of here. We thank everybody for listening to our podcast this week. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And also check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Give our latest videos a thumbs up. Make sure to follow us on X, Instagram, and Facebook at 13_rings podcast. Until next time, have a good day.
See ya.
Blessings.
Toodles.